Hello there. My name is Chinmaya and I welcome you back to part 2 of this two-part series on useful image tricks in GIMP. In the first part, I demonstrated 3 useful image editing sequences. In this part, I will show you how to clone and heal images, how to create multi-resolution icon files, and how to perform an interesting transform on an image, all inside GIMP. If you have missed the part 1 video, I have given a link in the description below, and you can check it out at your convenience. GIMP is a free and open source image editing software, and you can download and install it from gimp.org. The link to the GIMP website is in the description below. So without further ado, let's start part 2 with trick number 4. Trick number 4 is about using the clone and heal tools inside GIMP to remove blemishes and imperfections on images. There are many times when, say for example, we want to remove something from an image or maybe even add something to an image. For example, in this picture you can see a boat moving ahead and leaving a trail behind as a result of its forward motion. So say for example, if we wanted to remove this boat, we can do that quite easily using the clone tool inside GIMP. And as you can see in the picture on the right, we have successfully not only removed the boat from the picture, but also the trail of water that it created moving forward. What you can also do is remove any blemishes on photographs that might arise unexpectedly. For example, in this particular picture, this is a very old picture. So maybe because it was folded, you can see some damage along this particular line. When you encounter such kind of a situation, you can use the heal tool inside GIMP to correct and restore such kind of images. So as you can see here, I have done that and that particular damaged portion is now not visible. So let's head to GIMP and see how we can do this. So let's head to the tutorial images folder and open folder number 4, that is clone and healing. And here I have a few images. I'll be demonstrating some aspects of clone and heal tools using these images. So let's first start with this particular image, boat in the ocean. I'm going to catch hold of this and drop it in the Windows area. And here we have that particular image. This image, as you can see, shows a wide expanse of blue ocean. And there's one single boat moving in a particular direction with a trail of water that it has displaced while it's traveling. So let us say, for example, I wanted to remove this boat out of this picture. My requirement is to remove this boat out of this picture. So what I can do is I can actually use the clone tool to remove this boat out of this picture. And the general idea of the clone tool is that I'm going to point to some part of this image that will be cloned. And then I can just simply replace this part of the picture with whatever I have cloned. So say for example, if I clone this part of the ocean, I can then just simply move my cursor along this line, and whatever I have copied from here will replace this, and it will probably seamlessly merge and remove this trail of water. And when I come to the boat, it will remove the boat, replacing it with this particular sample of water. So that is the general idea. So let's pick up the clone tool. So you'll have to come to the toolbox, and this is the clone tool. If you right click on it, you will also see another tool that we will be using, and that's called as the healing tool. So you can either click here, right click on this icon. This menu will become stable. You can either click on this to pick up the clone tool, or otherwise use the keyboard shortcut C. And later on, when we pick up the healing tool, we will click here, or we can also invoke the healing tool by pressing the letter H on the keyboard. Let's pick this up here. So we are now having the clone tool, and you can now see at your mouse pointer an additional stamp icon that is indicating that the clone tool is active. You will also see a stop sign in black, which means that while the clone tool is active, you cannot use it because you haven't yet provided the clone tool with a sample to clone. Now, one important thing that I want your attention to is the tool options for the clone tool. So you will see that there are lots of options here for the clone tool. We will not go into great details of these options, but I will tell you some important options that we can choose to make this tool work better. So currently you will notice that the alignment is none and the source is an image because we are working on an image. If it was a pattern, if you wanted to duplicate a pattern, we can choose pattern, but we'll just leave it at image. And then you have the general brush tools. You can alter the size, the hardness, and the force. So all these are there. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to come to one part of the ocean and just go ahead and click on it. But before I do that, I want to increase the size of my brush. And let us see. Yeah, so this seems to be quite okay. This is like a slightly biggish circle. So this is a thicker brush. So I'll come to one part of the ocean that I want to replicate, press my Control key, and then click my left mouse button. And you will now notice that the stop sign has disappeared, which basically means that the clone tool is now active and ready to use. You will now notice two things. One is my cursor, and there's a little circle around my cursor as I move it. And you will also notice that there is another circle right here on the right hand side of the image from where I have picked up the clone. So that portion of the image is what I have cloned. But just have a look at this alignment option here. It says none. There are a few other choices that we can make, and I will explain that in a second. I just want you to notice that the alignment is set to none. So this circle tells me from where I have taken my clone, and this is my clone cursor. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to come here and press my left mouse key to replicate this over here. And as I move forward, please notice how this circle also keeps moving forward. So this is the source circle. And although you have started from here, it will not remain here because of this particular setting. So let's just come here and click on the left mouse button. And I'm just simply going to move, and you will notice that the circle below is also simultaneously moving, and it is rubbing off the water trail on top. At any time, I can come and press Control and pick another source and then keep moving forward and drop my mouse key, left mouse key. Then I can press my left mouse key once again, and I am coming to the boat. I can now press Control and pick up a water sample near the boat. So Control and left click. So another source sample has been picked up, and I'm going to go here and wipe off the boat. So as you can see, the boat has now been completely wiped off. And if you are a little bit careful and if you can spend a little more time, I've taken another sample and I'm just simply making it more conducive to the water near this particular place. So I can quite easily remove features by taking a sample and copying that sample on top of a particular image. So this is what the clone tool does for you. Using the clone tool, you can remove damaged parts or repair damaged parts or clear up any imperfections that you are seeing on the image, and maybe even remove objects out of the frame and also add objects, as I will just show you in a short while from now. So this is how the clone tool works. Now what has happened here is that as I take a sample, I'm just going to do Control and left click on my mouse. This is the source, and as I move forward, you will see that the source is continuously moving. So while the impression is that we have copied something from here and that thing is being copied here, it's actually the source is moving forward and we are copying new parts of this image over here. So I start from here, and as I move forward, the source is also moving, and whatever is inside the circle, that is in this circle, which is moving on top above the circle that has the cross, that part of the image is getting copied. So if you don't want that to happen, all you need to do is to come here and click on fixed. Sometimes we want this to happen. In this particular case, because it is an ocean and there is nothing else around here, So that's working perfectly fine. So if you change the alignment to fixed, come here and click on a sample. This circle will now remain stationary, and whatever is inside this circle will then be repeatedly copied. And as you can see, this is not a great thing to do, but this can be copied. You can just keep clicking. And this circle, as I move, is not actually moving along with me. So whatever I copied from here is being copied here. And as a result of which, things are not matching up as they were matching before. So I'm going to undo this, and you can see that whatever we did before was much better than what we have done now. So I can come here and remove this, and in this particular case choose none, and then just come here and press Control and left click to pick up a sample, and then I can just move and make this into a better, more homogeneous image that is not standing out very drastically from its neighboring pixels. So I can keep picking images from nearby sources, this side, and then moving it forward, Control and press it from this side, and then just trying to make sure that things are not really standing out that dramatically as they were before. So you can see that we have removed the boat like this, and this is how the clone tool works. So let's now go and have a look at some other examples. Let's see how the heal tool works and how it is different from the clone tool. So let's now look at the healing tool. I've started GIMP afresh, and I'm going to pick up this photo, lady, and bring it and drop it here. And click on convert. So this picture comes inside. The healing tool is routinely used by photographers for photo touch-ups like face portraits, etc. This example demonstrates how the GIMP healing tool works and how it is different from the clone tool. So let's say, for example, we want to remove this little spot from the face. So instead of using the clone tool, we can actually use the clone tool, pick up a part of the skin from here, and then place it here. We can actually do a better job using the healing tool, and we can just come here to the toolbox, right click on it and pick up healing, or just simply press the H button on the keyboard to activate this particular tool. This has similar options, almost the brush options, etc. And it almost works very similarly to the clone tool, with a little difference that is not really noticeable. You can see now that instead of a stamp, we are having a small icon near our cross mouse pointer. And there is also a stop sign there in black, indicating that we cannot use this tool even though we have activated this tool, because we have not picked up anything for it to copy. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to reduce the size of the brush to a size that is almost equal to the spot that I wish to correct. So this is one important point. So this is roughly that particular size, as you can see from my circle. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to come to a place which is very close to this particular region. And I'm just going to come here and press Control and click, just like when I was using the clone tool. Press Control and click. So you have picked up this particular sample, and this is the source. Now I'm going to come on this spot and click once. So you will see that as I start rubbing, this is actually melding completely, as is the case with the surrounding areas of the skin. So one critical difference between the heal tool and the clone tool is that while the clone tool blindly copies something that is available here, the heal tool tries to take into consideration the surrounding pixels and tries to kind of meld in relation to the surrounding pixels. So if you move inside and say, for example, if you took a sample from here, and then if you were to come here and try to click on it, you will see that it also takes into consideration the black hair, and it is smudging this just because it's not plainly copying from this particular part which we had done before. It's also taking into consideration the surrounding pixels which are having some element of black. So it is smudging this area blackish because it is also taking into consideration the black color of the hair. Let's now see another practical example of using the heal tool to repair damaged photographs. I'm going to pick up this photograph from here, lady photo raw, and just drop it in the image window and press convert. So as you can see, this is an old photograph and possibly it was folded, so it is damaged on the top. You can see the fold, and when you zoom in, you can see the damage. So we can attempt to repair this damage using the heal tool and the clone tool if we wanted to. You can in parts use the clone tool and in parts use the heal tool. That is entirely up to you. I'm going to go with the heal tool. So I will just press the H key on my keyboard and the heal tool is now active. As I was mentioning before, you can always right click and choose the healing from the menu, but I have just used the keyboard shortcut, the H key on the keyboard. So this tool is now active, as you can see. And what I'm going to do is I can reduce the size of my brush, and then I'm going to zoom in quite a bit. And then I'm going to pick up one portion of this photograph that is undamaged. And then I'm just going to rub this across. So I'll just press the control button and click and take a sample. So I'm using the healing tool, which will try to meld my corrections using this sample, plus also the surrounding pixels. So I'm going to just keep my left mouse button depressed, and then I'm just going to come here and rub on top of this. So as you can see, the first part has been done quite nicely. I'll press Control and pick up a shade from here, which is closer to what is happening here. And then one more from here, and then I'm just moving forward. So you will see that it's bringing out a very natural texture or whatever it is correcting, because it is trying to meld with the areas that are close by. I have picked up one more from here and maybe just simply put it here. So I'll just keep going like this, pick up one from here, and then just keep moving forward. So I will just keep going like this, and as you can see, picking up something from here. Then I'm just moving this a little forward and then going forward once again, picking something from here, and then just simply moving forward. I'm doing this very, very quickly just to demonstrate. But if you spend a little time trying to correct this in a proper manner, maybe pick up something from here and then move forward on this particular part, pick up something from here, control and click, and then move, clearing this particular part, pick up once again and move, picking up this particular part. So as you move forward, all these problems are getting sorted out using the heal tool. And if suppose some area seems to be more exposed, you can pick up another and then rub it once again with it. And so this is how you can just keep working. And after a little while, you will find that this particular photograph is clear of all these imperfections or problems. This is a major area. So I'm going to come here and pick up something from here and then just simply rub it across, or just keep clicking and removing spots if I have to. I don't need to rub them. And so this has been taken care of. I can come and remove these as well, and also this. So pick up something close by in terms of texture, and the healing tool also replicates the texture of what you have picked up. Control click, and that's why it is, really good to have this tool. And move forward. So if you spend a little time, you should be able to do a really, really good job of this. And as you can see, this image has now been removed of that particular problem. If you see some problems still, you can come here and pick and correct them as well. So this is going to take a little time to do, but then the major issue that we had with this image, that issue has been corrected using the heal tool, and you now have a kind of restored photograph. So we will just come here and click on File. Once we are done, we can click on Export As, and let's just save it as Lady Photo Healed, and go ahead and save it as a JPG file. Export and export. So when you open your folder, you'll find this photo there, the raw and the healed. And let's open this up in a viewer. And if you come and click on the healed photograph, you will see that the line has gone and all the portions on which we had worked have now been healed or cured. We could have done a better job, but then this was just for demonstration. You can also work on this particular portion and other portions that are not in line. But this is how the heal tool can be used to clean up damaged photographs or any imperfections or inconsistencies on a photograph after the photograph has been taken. So I just wanted to point out one final small point about the clone tool. I'm going to pick up this plain image and drop it in the image window and press convert to bring this image inside. Let us say I wanted to remove this plane. And so I'm going to come here and right click on this and choose my clone tool, or press C to choose my clone tool. And you will notice that the alignment is none. And let us say, for example, I am taking this particular part of the sky. So let me just increase the size of my brush and I'll pick up this part of the sky and control and click. So this tool is now active. And let me say, I'm just going to go ahead and rub this out, as you can see. But just see what's happening here. It's not exactly replacing the point where I have clicked. And you will see that newer shades are emerging. In fact, as I come down, you will see that this part is also getting copied here. So what exactly is going on? So let me just undo everything and show this to you. So what is happening here is that because the alignment is none, I am coming here and clicking on this particular portion, hoping that I'll copy this and clone it over here. Or for that matter, if I can just come and click this particular portion and copy it here. So I'll come here and press Control and clone it. So this portion has now been copied and this is the source. So when I come here and start rubbing this off, this gets rubbed, but just see what is happening to the second circle. Whatever is getting copied is actually getting copied because of the second circle's position. So wherever there is the source circle, which is moving under the cross circle, that part of the image is getting copied along. So by that logic, if I go down, you will see that the source circle is now over the road and it is copying the road. So this is what happens when you are using alignment as none, and therefore you should not be surprised. If you want the behavior to be just, copy this particular part. So let me just undo this and bring back our aircraft. You will have to come to alignment and change it to fixed. And then let's say come here and click on this part of the blue sky. And now when I rub this plane off, this circle, the source circle, will not move and it will behave exactly as I want it to behave. So this brings us to an interesting application also. Say, for example, if I was to just simply press Control and clone this particular part, click. So I've taken this part. So if I now want to copy this over some other part of the image and move in this direction, the source circle will come over the plane and also copy the plane. So this can actually help me put in another aircraft in the sky. I'm starting from here, depressing my left mouse button. Don't press Control to copy, just the left mouse button. And I'm now moving forward and just see where the source circle is moving. It is moving now on top of the plane. And as you can see, I am now able to copy the entire aircraft, and I have introduced a second aircraft in the sky. So using this technique, we can also introduce additional objects in an image. So this is how you can use the clone and heal tools for some very interesting effects on images. Trick number 5 is about creating multi-resolution icon files. Icons are universally used, and software developers and website developers are very familiar with icons. So what you can do inside GIMP is that you can take a JPG file, convert it into a multi-resolution icon file. And what is meant by multi-resolution is that one file contains many different versions of the same graphic. In this particular case, there is a 16 by 16 version, a 48 by 48 version, a 64 by 64 pixel version, a 128 by 128 pixel version, and a 256 by 256 pixel version. And you will notice that whenever you display something inside Windows, for example, you change to view files inside a folder using small, medium, large, or extra large icons, an appropriate resolution is picked and displayed such that the icon is not displayed very small and you can see the icon clearly at whatever resolution that you have chosen here. You can also see icons on browser tabs where they appear on every single tab. For example, this is the icon for YouTube. This is the icon for GIMP. This is the icon for Firefox. So in this trick, we'll try to learn how we can create a multi-resolution icon file inside GIMP. And this tip can be very useful for software developers and website developers. So let's see how we can do this. We come across icon files everywhere, whether it's a folder or whether it is a web page, you see icons everywhere. But these files are special files and they go with the extension .ico. So let's see how we can create an icon file using GIMP. Let's open folder number 5, create icon. And here I've placed a small sample PNG file. It's an image, a sample logo. So what we're going to do is we are going to use GIMP to create an icon file. So the first thing that we need to do is to catch hold of this file and drop it in the image window. So let me just maximize this. So Control, Shift, and J. Now let's pick up the scale tool right here. Click on this and then come here and click on this image. So you will see that this image has a width and height of 330 by 330. Whenever we want to create an icon file and we are using an image or a graphic, we have to make sure that it is a square image. So it has to be the same dimensions in width and height. We also see that the resolution of this image is 300 ppi or pixels per inch. So this resolution is quite high for screen viewing where most of the icons are viewed. These kinds of resolutions are good for printing. So the first thing that we can do is to reduce the resolution of this image. So to do that, I'm going to come here and go to Image and click on Scale Image. And here you will see that the same information that we are seeing in this window is displayed here, but we have an additional option of changing the resolution. The resolution currently is being shown in pixels per millimeter. Let's change it to pixels per inch. And here you can see that it's 300 pixels per inch. So let's change this to 72, which is suitable for online or screen viewing, and press enter. So the Y resolution automatically changes because these are linked with each other. The same is over here. So I'm going to go ahead and click on scale. Nothing is going to happen to this image because we are not changing the width and height. So nothing is going to be visible. We will only change the resolution. So I'm just going to come here and click on scale. If your image already has a resolution of 72 pixels, that is fine, and then you don't need to change the resolution. So now we can start creating an icon file. The process of creating an icon file is really very simple. Icons are usually very small. You can change the width and height to something that is acceptable. Say, for example, we wanted to create an icon of 48 pixels by 48 pixels. So we can do that quite easily. This is rescaled, and all we need to do is to just come here and go to File and Export As, and just simply change the extension to ICO and export the file. So sometimes this is all that you need to do, like when you need an icon for a website, for example, at a set resolution. At other times, however, you might need to create a multiple resolution icon. So let's see how we can do that. So let me undo this. The thing is, that when you save an icon to one standard size, at times that particular size is not suitable for display inside Windows, or for that matter on a browser tab. It would either appear too small or too large. So to avoid that kind of a problem, we look at icon files as a container box that has not one file, but many files at different resolutions. So once you create an icon file which is having multiple files at different resolutions, the web browser or the operating system can pick up an icon file of an appropriate resolution. If it wants to display a small icon, it's going to pick up a file that has small dimensions. And if it has to display a large icon, it's going to go ahead and pick up that version of the file which is larger in size. So what we are going to do is we will bring this image to standard sizes and create multiple images of different width and height, and then save all of them inside one single file. So let's try this out. So what we're going to do is we will duplicate this layer, this image. So right click and duplicate layer. So we have a copy of this image here. So now that we have a copy, we'll double click on this text part and rename this file. Double click and let's call it 256x256, indicating that this is a 256 by 256 file. Click anywhere in this black part to fix the name and click on this layer to make sure that it is selected. Now we'll just pick up the scale tool and click on this. So you will see that because this is a copy of this file, it is the exact same dimension, but we are going to type in 256 and enter. So the other dimension automatically changes, and we will just come here and click on scale. So when we do this, we have a new layer that is 256 by 256. And we are going to keep repeating this process till we come down to 16 by 16. Let me just show this to you. Right click and we are making another copy. So duplicate layer. This time click on the text part and let us name it as 128 by 128. This is the name of this new layer. Remember, it is still 256 by 256. So when we click on this, select it, and using the scale tool, come and click on it. You'll see that it is 256 by 256. We will just come here and just simply divide this number by 2, enter. It's now 128 by 128, and we will click on scale. We will once again come here, duplicate this layer, and we will just double click on this, call it 64 by 64. I'm renaming it before we actually do this, but you can do it the other way around as well. Click on this to select the layer and then using the scale tool. So this is 128 by 128 because this is a copy of the previous version. And we will just come here and divide it by 2/2, enter. This is now a 64 by 64 version, and we will scale it. Then we are going to make another copy of this and duplicate layer, and this one will be 32 by 32, 32 by 32, and we are going to select this, click here, and then just come here and using the scale tool, click on this layer, once again divide by 2. It's now 32 by 32, scale, and we are going to add one final layer. So right click and duplicate layer. And this one is going to be the smallest one, 16 by 16. And I'm going to come here and using the scale tool, I've already clicked this so you can see that the scale tool is active. I'm just going to come here and click on this and just simply divide it by 2. You can always type 16 in the box and no need to perform the math, but this is faster. So this is now 16 by 16 and scale. So we now have a 16 by 16 version, then a 32 by 32 version, a 64 by 64 version of the same file, a 128 pixels by 128 pixels version, a 256 by 256 pixel version. And this was our original image, which was 300 by 300, We don't need this because 300 by 300 was our original image and it's not a standard size. So I'm going to right click on this and delete this layer. So we have all these layers, and what we are going to do is now we are going to come here and go to File, and we will go to Export As, and I'm going to call this as logo icon. So this is going to be an icon file. Very importantly, you have to change the extension to .ico. This is the most important part. And once you have changed the extension to .ico, just come here and click on Export. And it's going to come back and show you all the different resolutions at which it is going to save this particular file. This is still going to be one single file, but you can think of it like a box in which all these different resolution files are residing. So we are going to come here and click on Export. So once you open your folder, you will see that you have a new file here, and this is logo-icon. If you bring your mouse on top of this file, you will see that the item type is an ICO file, and the size of this file is 128 KB. We know that this file contains 5 files at different resolutions of the same graphic. And this is the original file. You will remember that this is a PNG file. So we have converted this file into an icon file, which is a container having all these different resolutions that you see here. Let me just demonstrate how this works. Let me create a new folder. So this folder is always shown with an icon. So let me go to View and see this as a large icon. So you will see that the default icon for the folder is a folder, yellow folder. What we can do is we can change this icon, and I'm going to come here and right click and then go to Properties, and here you can customize. So click on Customize. I'm using Windows 11. So if you are using Windows 11, you can follow this. Otherwise, you can just look at this example and see why we need files at different resolutions. It's just a conceptual thing. So when you click on Customize, there is an option called as Change Icon. The current icon is this folder. So I'm going to click on this. And then you can just simply move to your folder where you have saved that logo-icon file. So I'm going to just do that. So this is the file that I created just now. And we will just click on this and click on Open. So that file has now come here. And I'm going to go ahead and click on OK and Apply. So you will see that the folder icon has now changed to the icon that we have created here. Now, what happens if I want to see this as a small icon? So when I click on this, you will see that the smallest icon has been picked up and placed here, so it is visible properly. When I come here and want to see this as a medium icon, you will see that one of these has been picked up and the icon is still nicely visible. Let me come here and then move on to a large icon, and you will see that another resolution from this box has been picked up and the icon is now clearly visible when we are wanting to see the large icon. And now I'm going to go ahead and click on extra large icon. So it has picked up the highest resolution, that is probably 128 or 256. And this is also very clearly visible. So irrespective of how I want to view my icon, you will see that there is always some dimension that is available. And the icon is not pixelating. And when I move from this small icon to a very large icon, the icon is absolutely crystal clear because we have a resolution that meets this particular display as large icon need of the operating system. So this is one important point. But let me now show you what happens if we had saved this only as one single resolution. So I'm going to catch hold of this 16 by 16. And then I'm going to just drag it and dump it in the toolbox. So when you do this, a new view opens up here. I want you to keep looking at this area. I'm going to come here and I'm going to release my left mouse button and drop it. So you will see that a new view has been opened here. And I'm going to now come here, and this is having only one file. So I'm going to come here and click on File and Export As. And this will be logo small, or let me just call it logo16.ico, and I'm going to export this. So it's just coming back and telling me there's just one single file. I'm going to go ahead and click on export. So that file has now been saved. When you open the folder, you will find that this file is available here, logo16. And I'm going to go inside this folder, and you will see that this is the folder to which we had assigned our multi-resolution icon. And as we tried to view the large icon, it was perfectly clear. So was the medium icon. So what we are going to do now is to repeat the process. Right click on this, go to properties, customize, and we are going to change this icon and go ahead and click on browse. And we are going to now assign logo16, the small icon that we have created. And we're going to go ahead and click on open and OK and apply. So when this happens, you can easily see now that even at this resolution, the icon has completely broken. So if you are viewing it as a small icon, there's no problem because it is quite suited for that kind of a display. But as we start moving up, we go to medium icon, you can see that it is completely pixelated because that one single file is now being stretched by the operating system. And when we go to large icons, you can expect what's going to happen. Even though there is place for it to expand, nothing more can be done about this. And what we see is a very badly pixelated icon of a very small size. And when you try to compare it with the one that we had created previously, I'm going to revert back to that particular icon and come back here and click on the logo icon. You will see that this can handle anything. So when you're viewing a large icon, you will see very clear icon picture, large icon, another picture taken out of that box and suitably applied, medium icon, another picture with a different dimension taken, still the icon is clearly visible. And if you're doing this small, you will be able to see this. If you are doing a list, you should still be able to see this small icon. So this is the beauty of having a multi-resolution icon file. And this trick should be very useful for developers and website creators, especially when they need icons. So I'm going to come here and delete this. And we are back again to our original icon file. If you save this file by clicking on save, it gets saved as an XCF file, which is a GIMP format file. And if you save this file, you can come at any time, open this file and keep adding or deleting as you wish. So this is how you can create a multi-resolution icon file. And this trick should be very useful and handy for web developers or software developers when they want to create icons. Trick number 6, which is the final trick in this video, is about transforming an image. Let's say we have a picture like this. There's a person looking on a laptop screen and the person is looking at a marketing website. And what we want to do now is that we have a screenshot of a browser and this is a climate change page. What we want to do is we want to fit this page exactly on the laptop screen such that it appears that the person is actually looking at the climate change page and not the marketing page. So this is what we want to fit. If we try to reduce the size or rotate the image, because the laptop screen is at an angle, this can never happen very perfectly. So we can actually make use of transformation tools available in GIMP to create an image like this, where we can transform the climate change image to perfectly fit the laptop screen. So let's head to GIMP and see how we can do this. Let's open our tutorial images folder and let's go to folder number 6, uniform transformation. Inside this folder, you will see two images. One image is titled laptop screen and the other image is titled as browser screen. So let's just bring the first image, laptop screen, inside GIMP. Just come here and drop it and press convert. Now you have the first image inside GIMP. What you see here is a person looking at a laptop screen, possibly looking at a web page of a marketplace, as you can see here. Now, what I wanted to do was, I wanted to bring in another image. Let us say, for example, instead of this person looking at a marketplace screen, I wanted him to be looking at a climate change page. So what I've done here is I have a screenshot of a browser screen. Let me bring that in as well. And you will see that when I bring in the second image, that is just grab it and drop it here, another layer will appear in this particular box. So let me just bring in this browser screenshot and drop it right here. So you will see that the browser screen image is now sitting on top of the laptop screen image. I can switch any one of these off by clicking on this eye icon, off, and likewise for the laptop screen, off and on again. And I can reposition these layers. So I can just drag the browser screen layer and bring it under the laptop screen layer like this. And once again, back again on top. So I can move these images or layers one on top of each other as I please. So now what I want to do is I want to bring in this browser screenshot to fit exactly on this laptop screen such that the image appears as if the person is looking at a climate change page, and I can use that in my presentation. So conventionally, I would like to resize this image and then maybe rotate it, try to fit it on the laptop screen. But believe me, it is almost practically impossible to do that with the controls that you have by rotation, etc. It doesn't really fit very perfectly. So if you ever wanted to do something like this, what you can do is you can just come here into the toolbox and then click on this scale tool, and you will see that there are quite a few other tools also in this group. And the one that we are interested in is the Unified Transform tool. You will notice that the keyboard shortcut for Unified Transform is Shift and T. So you can either right click on this icon and then click on the Unified Transform option right here, or otherwise just simply press the Shift plus T keys on your keyboard. So when you do that, you now have the tool active, and all you need to do is to make sure that you have selected the browser screen layer. Just click on it such that the browser screen is the selected layer. Just click here and then come back and click on this particular image. So when you do this, you will see that a lot of controls now appear on this particular image. And what you need to do is you can just simply grab hold of the corner diamond and bring it to the edge of this laptop screen, and grab hold of this and bring it to the other edge. Grab hold of the diamond in the center and bring it to the third edge, and grab hold of the diamond in the center and bring this edge to fit the laptop screen perfectly. You can then just keep going and adjusting this. You can use these square handles here to increase or decrease the size, or otherwise the corner handles, the central diamond, and then just simply move it to select and reposition, making sure that you have covered the entire laptop screen. You can even zoom in if you wanted to, just to make sure that the corners are matching perfectly. So if you spend a little bit of time, you can do this very nicely. You can grab the whole image and move it to fit it perfectly if you wanted to. So there are a lot of controls that you can actually make use of to make sure that everything fits in perfectly. And if you were to move your mouse over this corner handle, and when you're coming inside and moving up a little bit, and your mouse changes to a cross, as you will see in a second right there, you can then grab hold of it and also rotate the image. This may take a few clicks to practice. Just come inside one of these corner squares and move from the center towards the edge, and wait for your mouse cursor to turn into a plus right there, and then just simply depress your left mouse button and you can rotate the entire image. So once you are happy adjusting, then all you need to do is to just come here and click on this transform button right here, or just press the enter key. So I'm going to come here and click on transform, and you are done. So you have replaced the laptop image with the new browser window image. And then all you need to do is to come here and click on file, and then go to export as, I'm going to call it laptop screen climate change CC, and then just simply go ahead and click on export. Press export one more time and you are done. So when you come here back to your folder, you will see this laptop screen CC. Let's click on it and see it in the photo viewer. So you can see that the image has been nicely superimposed on the laptop screen. And this is what the original image was. And this is what we have made of the new image after we have very successfully melded it inside the laptop frame. If you spend a little more time, you can do this even better. So this is how you can use the transform tool to fit one image inside a frame or another image and create some very useful graphics. I hope you found these two videos informative and useful. Using image editors can be a bit daunting at first, and GIMP is no exception. But once you get the hang of it, the joy of editing images, creating graphics, posters, thumbnails, flyers from scratch can be both engaging and exhilarating. That GIMP is completely free and open source, and that you can do all your image editing completely offline is quite empowering. I hope my GIMP videos can help you get started on this journey. Many thanks for watching, and I look forward to seeing you in my next video.